All right, and there it goes. We are live. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are. My name is Nate. This is Hall Yeah Comics, and I am joined by my good friend Martin, the Aussie comic book collector. Good evening, Martin.
Good morning, Nate.
Now,
I can see
I
you.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I can see you're drinking coffee, and
Yes.
I've got some water.
Okay. So the last time just a little bit of history. Martin is the first person I ever reached out to about doing a like live comic book hangout. So you're always going to have a special place in my heart, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
And the last time we did this, I think it was late for me and early for you. I think it was the opposite. I want to say it
Yeah,
was
that's right. It was very early for me. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. But
so this is just fair.
yeah, I'm up early, very very early in the morning anyway, so it's not a big problem at all.
And I am too. I generally am up very early, because being a teacher, but this week I'm on spring break. I didn't have to be. I wanted to be. But believe it or not, even this early over here in the States, there are a few people popping in, and I just want to say good morning to them before we get started.
Go for it.
So, ever present, we've got JSS promoting the Sunday show for Hagen and I. Thanks, JSS. And then there's my friend Matt from Matt Likes Comics. Matt's up in Canada, so this is a truly international morning.
Cool.
Um, Jason from Renegade Rants. Good morning, Jason. He just put a video out not too long ago. There's Michael. Good morning, Michael. Good to see you. Matt in Clemson. I actually just thought about him the other day. He's trying to put together a set of the Mask comics I saw on his
Ooh.
Instagram. I know, and I'm like, I've got a few, but I'm not going to let them go yet. But yeah, Mask was such a great cartoon, and there's new toys coming out, and I'm so excited. They're expensive, but I'll probably get one or two. There's Jeff from Comic Spa. Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
Good morning, my friend. And I think that is everybody. So, everybody, thanks for being up. Thanks for watching this in the rewind. I do have linked below. I have Martin's YouTube channel, so please sub him if you don't. And then also, he and his brother are independent comic book creators, and I linked your store as well.
thank you very
Um,
much.
well, absolutely. And that's what I want to start with. I wanted to hold up my copy of Wombat Man. Unfortunately, I showed you I'm reorganizing my comics. I could not find it. It's not where I thought it was.
Okay,
What's what it I liked it a lot. Like it
thank
was
you.
fun. It had like, it had that kind of independent I don't want to say the tick, but the tick. It just had that kind of like fun feel to it. So uh I didn't know if you wanted to. I know that's one that you do, and I want if you wanted to talk about
Yeah,
Wombat Man, and maybe there's. I heard you talk that maybe the second one's on its way.
yeah. So real quick, I'll stand up just slightly. I've got my Wombat Man
Yes.
shirt, and yeah, the first issue has well and truly gone out, and the second issue is yet to go to the printers. I'm waiting for the proof to arrive so I can see if there's any problems. But if not, I will have it ready in the next say 2 weeks. Um, and it's got a Tom Morgan cover. Tom Morgan, he did Punisher 2099 and Iron Man in
Wow.
the 90s. And it's a pop and cover. I love it so much. Um, yeah.
Well, the
So
cover on the first one is really good as well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a Japanese artist that I found on Facebook. His name's Dakota Anderson. He's got a Kickstarter at the moment for this his own book. It's called The Hunter.
okay.
And it looks great. So
Cool.
if you're a Kickstarter fan, go check it out.
Uh, Kickstarter, like I've tried to do a couple, and it's a little overwhelming to me. Like the way that there's this tier and that tier, and usually
Yeah,
like I work the courage up to do it, and then I get overwhelmed by their interface. Uh,
yeah,
I know a lot of people who do though. A lot of people who support Kickstarters and are really into following books and publishing them that way.
yeah. My brother, he tried Kickstarter as well, but he got overwhelmed, and he just said, I'm going to find a different avenue to do these books. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't for him.
And so you and your brother, twin brother,
Hmm.
and you guys I've seen you at a few cons this year that you've posted. How's the convention circuit going for you guys?
Yeah, so very well. We were meant to be doing Supernova Melbourne tomorrow, but we've got dad duties with one of our kids, with both of our kids. So this is the first time in 15 years we've missed it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but we're doing we're doing smaller cons. We're doing the Geelong Comic Book Fair. Geelong's like a sister city in Melbourne, and that's later in the month. And then we're going to Adelaide in November, and we're going to a place called Rockhampton, which is all the way up the very top of Australia. It's almost touching Indonesia. That's how close it is.
So
Uh,
what kind of a drive is that for you?
so that is a flight up to Brisbane, and then a puddle jumper um, to Rockhampton, and then a bus.
And how do you get your books there?
In the bag, we carry it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, dope.
G'day.
Um, wow, man. Yeah, so you huff it all to get up there and do a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
We
awesome.
do. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I did link their store. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna wait for Wombat Man, and because I know shipping here to the US is not gonna be cheap. But when Wombat Man 2 drops, I'll be ordering that and a couple other books as well, like, Fart Puppies.
Well, I've got the last issue of Fart Puppies coming out as soon as I can. I'm just having some problems with printing.
Yeah.
There's just some technical issues. Um, yeah, but yeah, Fart Puppies 12. They go into space to save the sun. It is
That's
so
outstanding.
it's so outrageous and so stupid. It makes no sense from a scientific point of view, but it's hilarious. I had so much fun doing it.
Well, that is awesome. I love that you are, you're a major comic book fan. But in addition to that, being somebody who's so in love with it that you want to, make books, I think is really cool. And speaking of books, you brought a few that you wanted to show off and talk about.
Yeah, so I have 7 books, and I've
Okay.
just shown off the first cover. So the first one I want to show off, and I thought of you when I saw this. This is
Yes.
Young Justice issue 5 with Amethyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amethyst right there from Gem World.
Is that Brian Michael Bendis?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
Bendis run,
Yeah.
which visually was very appealing because it's Josh Timms. Is it Josh Timms? Something Timms, but he's doing Aquaman at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good artist.
Yeah, very very good artist. Very fun and vibrant, and he can relay action very well. Um, but yeah, I saw Amethyst and I thought of you because
I I read that trade. I saw it on the shelf at the library and was like, "Gym World? No way." But, everybody who's my age writing, they're nostalgic for the same things.
yeah. Did you want me to press on with what else I got?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so my kids have been watching Futurama on Disney Plus,
Awesome.
and it's not really for me. The humor is a little bit too risky for me, but my kids like it. But I have Futurama issue 1. This is before the TV show came out. I can see the glare. The glare's killing me.
Wow.
But this is a very independent book. Um, it came out in 1989 from slave labor. And
That ok
as you
that's really cool. That it looks like, the Metropolis movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of inspired by that. It's all black and white, and it follows this robotic goddess around. It's a very weirdly written book, but visually it's very striking.
Yeah, I
Um,
I I love stuff from that era. So Jeff from Comic Spot, he says it looks like a temperature controlled vault he's sitting in. For anyone who doesn't know, Martin, where are you right now? Like, where is your comic book vault?
Well, it's in a storage unit. I live in a very small town in Melbourne, and yeah, I hire out this vault and not this vault, this storage unit.
I
um,
love it.
yeah, and yeah, there's a door here, obviously, and yeah, it's just this little room that I rent out, and it's. I've showed you before the video started. It's just boxes and boxes of comic books.
It is the most comics I've ever seen. If you want to feel better about your own comic hoarding, just send Martin some pictures and have him send some back. It's
And I don't
you
know if
have an incredible amount in there.
thank you. I don't know if you can see, but I have all these books on the side. Uh, Ravage 2099.
Yeah,
I've got 117 copies of them in here, and I even have up here. It's slabbed
excellent. I
because I
love
thought,
it.
why not?
Why not? I hope you didn't have to pay too much for the slab.
I paid a decent price. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I constructed this probably about 4 years ago because it was just a mess with all our stuff, and so I cleared it all out because we were in lockdown and there was nothing else to do.
Right.
And so then yeah, I cleared it all out and I put the shelving units in, and I said, I can put a whole lot of comic books in here, and so I just started filling it in, and then I thought, I could start doing a video from here.
It's yeah. And you do one a day every day.
One a day, every day. So I don't film them each day, but
Right.
I do a whole bunch and then I just release it at the same time every day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's a cool way to do it. It's a cool way to do it, and I like that your videos you do these like 4 books with a key or a minor key at the end. But it's a cool way to walk through your collection. And it's also like uh 5 to 10 minutes. You can
yeah.
find the time to like I in the mornings in my classroom as I'm getting ready for the day, I'm watching comic book YouTube. And you are usually one or two of them depending on how far behind I am because I know I can fit them in before the kids show up.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. That's
So,
great. I love hearing that.
yeah. Well, I run and I don't always leave a comment on people's videos because 'cause I'm working while I'm watching/listening, but
Yeah.
that's what that's how I watch a lot of videos is in the morning. And yeah, like Dope says, surround yourself with what you love, brother. So let's see, we got a question here.
Yeah.
Um, do you find it overly expensive to get books graded being in Australia, or does CGC have an outpost out there? How does that
That
work for you guys?
that's a very good question. There's a mate of mine by the name of Neville, and he is a CGC affiliated grader. So I can go through him if I want to. But where are we? If you can see up here, Popeye. I've got Popeye. I forget what issue it is, issue 4 or something like that, and it's from a company called Halo, and Halo are based up in Brisbane. So yeah, the top of Australia, and I can get stuff graded through them, and it's not
Okay.
that bad. It's actually pretty decently priced.
Well, that's good to know. That's a good question. I never really thought about that if you would have to ship it off to the States and get it shipped back, but
Oh yeah, I mean you can, but
yeah,
that adds risk and stress, and you
right,
could lose your books. But up in Brisbane, it's not that big a bigger distance compared to say overseas.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's another book you brought, Martin?
Well, this I wish I had the number. If anyone can tell me what the number of this is,
Oh, wow. Yeah, the gold key in the Dell, you almost always have to look on the inside.
yeah, I might have to crack it open because it doesn't have it on the back.
That's great.
Um, but yeah, so um, over here, if you want to get these in a good condition, it's very pricey. And uh, someone has got a biro and put a little goatee on.
He's a beatnik.
Yeah, and glasses as well.
Oh,
So
wow, yeah.
I was able to get it for a good price, and there's also major spine stress. I've read it once and I've put it away, but that's my. Actually, I got two copies of the Monsters, so I got this issue and I got another one.
Very cool.
I think there's only four issues of the Monsters from Gold Key, but yeah, without opening up, I can't remember the number.
Is it drawn art inside? Or is
Yes.
it okay. And, let's see, Terry from, Dead Man Comic Cover Show, good morning from England. We are really international today, Martin. You are
Wow,
bringing it out, brother. So
that's
good
awesome.
morning, Terry, or good afternoon for you probably. And Matt from Matt Likes Comics says you have issue 4.
I've just taken it out because I was intrigued, and maybe I should have waited. So thank you, Matt. But yeah, it's in really bad condition. Yeah, issue 4. Thank you,
And
Jeff.
yep, and Jeff, confirming as well. And
Yeah, so
Stevie D snuck in. Good morning, Stevie D.
I'll
Yeah,
be very
I used
careful
to
about
love the monsters.
how I hold this because it's all about to fall apart. But yeah, October of 1964, and as you can see, it's all hand
Yeah,
drawn and some black and white
but
photos. And
the art is actually really good for,
it,
for what
it's
it
very
is.
nice. But
Yeah,
I will put it away because it's very brittle. So just excuse me while I do this.
yeah, yeah.
I do this on my channel where I sometimes take it out, and then when I try to put it back, all people can see is my big fat head.
The
Because
magic of YouTube.
I don't do any editing. I film, and
I
then whatever
know.
I film and whatever I say, it's going out. So
I'm I am always impressed with people who can do that. Like, you do that, Matt from Matt Likes Comics does that, Dope does that, like, just plant the camera and talk through it, like, I don't know. I jack my thoughts up so often, I can't I don't feel like I can do stream of consciousness. I have to cut out the brain farts and the times I forget things.
oh yeah,
I
I mean yeah, it happens to me all the time. And sometimes I think, should I post this because have I said something that's so stupid or so outrageous um, that yeah, is it going to get me
yeah,
cancelled?
you and I talked about that before, and I really liked it because it was like we both were like, I have put things up that are 100% factually incorrect, and someone will correct me in the comments, but no one knows, right? Like, it's not like I have to take the video down. It's just I said an issue number wrong or a first appearance or whatever, but I said it with absolute confidence, like I knew what I was talking about, and you just let it go. Um, and yeah, it is the teacher in me. I can't help it. If I'm not prepared, I don't know.
Yeah.
And but that it's true, Matt. It does make he says, "I find brain farts make the video feel more authentic." And that's what impresses me about people who are able to do that because one, like, um, as an audience member, I think I don't notice it near as much as I would as somebody making their own video. You're way more critical of yourself.
Yeah.
But it is like it is authentically like having a conversation with the person who's making the video, and that's very cool. I wanna show you something that came out on Wednesday that I bought, and
Yes.
anybody who's in the chat, who wants to chime in. So, I bought this. This
Ah.
is the oversized like, I am a sucker for treasury editions, right?
Yeah.
And this is not Treasury Edition, this is even bigger than that. And what I noticed about it, I mean, this is just a one for one of Batman 158, the new Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee Hush
Yeah.
issue. There's nothing special about it other than the size. And it was 15 bucks, 14.95. And, I absolutely love over like, I buy treasury editions whenever I can find them for a decent price, and a decent price is like 10 or 15 bucks. So here's a treasury edition. This is one that I think they just reprinted this one actually, and
Yep.
I've had this one for a long time. I had it as a kid, and it literally fell apart, and I replaced it a few years ago. But size-wise, I mean,
Wow.
it's not even close. Like, this is way bigger. This is I'm not sure. Yeah. so like the ratio of a treasury edition is quite a bit smaller.
Yep. Very impressive.
But what do you think about this as a gimmick? I know that Dope, he had said, "Oh my god, now this is gonna be the new thing. They're gonna start doing oversizes, of these books." And I joked, "Only if idiots keep buying them." I bought it first thing. Like that was the first thing I asked when I went into my
Yeah.
LCS.
Well, my opinion is that I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a much more cost effective uh, avenue for comic book fans. Like you've got the IDW artist editions,
Mhm.
and I mean you could knock someone out with the size of these things. They are just they're huge, they're bulky, they're heavy, and to carry them is just a logistical nightmare. So to have a like for like comic book, which is the size of a actual comic book hand drawn page,
And
it's
yeah,
a brilliant idea.
that's what this is. This is whatever 11 by 17 or
Yep.
whatever the oversize is, and that's what everybody JSS says. I keep hearing Life magazine bags. I mean, I don't know. It's Jim Lee, right? Like it's Jim Lee returning to Batman. I get why they would do that.
Yeah.
When I look at price, it's honestly not too bad. Like, I mean, the book itself is $5. So 3 times the book, 3 times the 3 times the money, 3 times the size. I don't know if that's too bad either. I really didn't balk at it. If it was $20, I probably would have went, that's cool, but I'm not getting it. I feel like 15 was the perfect price point for that.
Yeah. So if it's 15 for you, then it is 40, let's say 40 to $45 for me, because it's the price conversion is it's like $62, sorry, 62 cents to every US dollar.
Okay.
So yeah, we're paying we're paying
Wow.
but you have to be really dedicated to fork out 40 to $45 for it.
Yeah, you
But
do.
it's still worth it. I still say it's worth it.
Yeah. I don't regret it. I mean, I cleaned up my room in here and I had room and I did like what I always do. I like to lay on the floor with a treasury edition because it's so like you can't sit with it in your lap easily. It's
Yeah.
either you got to sit at a table where you can lay it out on a table or just lay on the floor and feel like you're a little kid. So that's what I did. Good morning, Adam. There's Adam from Up and Adam Comics. He'll be on the Hangover show this coming Sunday.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, I that was one that I picked up. I picked up so much last week. Like it was gross how many books came out
Yeah.
and how many I there were several I just left on the shelf. So Batman 158 had a glow in the dark cover. I was
Uh,
tempted by that.
yeah.
Um, I wasn't tempted by the foils or any of the variants, to be perfectly honest. I felt like I got my money's worth out of that oversize, but I did buy the A cover too. What was the book, if you don't mind? You said you were really excited for something that came out on Wednesday, and you haven't picked up new books yet. What are
Yeah.
you excited for?
I'm dying to read Absolute Flash issue one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
care for it.
that's
I'm
cool.
sorry.
No, no, not everything is for everyone.
I I agree. You and I have said that before, and I love that attitude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should hit. It should be a hit. It's Jeff Lemire. I love his art. I love his writing.
Yeah.
And I love the Flash. I mean, I'm still collecting the ongoing Flash, which is not very good from
Yeah.
DC, but I
Me too.
haven't given up. I haven't given up the Ghost.
That's why I want to read it so much, because I want to put them side by side and say this is good, this is very bad, and then
Yeah.
every month saying this is even better, this is even worse. I did it when Dan Slott was writing Fantastic Four, and we
Uh-huh.
had the Terrifics by DC,
Okay.
and I found the Terrifics to be a lot more fun, and a lot more flowing and just conducive, and just there was a lot more to it that I enjoyed. And I would say terrific is terrific, fantastic, not so much.
Oh, that's a shame. Because I know he's been hit or miss, but the things that I've really liked that Dan Slott has done have been a lot of fun. his initial She-Hulk run was so good,
Yeah.
in the early 2000s, and then he did, like, a Spider-Man Human Torch team up, book. It was a miniseries, that was really good. I mean, it brought back the spider buggy, for God's sake. You can't go wrong there. Alright,
Yeah.
this is the one I thought you might be saying came out, Absolute Martian Manhunter.
That's on my list.
Good. I was gonna say, if this one's not on your list, it should be. This is weird, um, in all the best ways. Like,
Cool.
I don't know where this is going, but, like, in terms of it sets up a nice little eerie whatever of this guy and what is the Martian Manhunter, and there's just the art is very surreal. There's a lot of these colors and things that I think are representative of the not mind control but telepathy and things.
Yep.
The last page, I'm not going to spoil. It's out there. People are spoiling it, but holy cow, the last page of Absolute Martian Manhunter was like so freaking cool. So
Cool.
freaking cool. So,
Cool.
I cannot recommend that one enough. I mean, I pick up any number 1 that, like, I will grab. So,
Yeah.
like, Absolute Superman, I got the number 1, I didn't really care for it, I never got any more. Absolute Flash, I got the number 1, I didn't really care for it, I will get more because it's the Flash.
Yep.
This one I'm gonna stick with. This one I'm gonna stick with until it doesn't pay off, but it was
Yep.
really, really good. So, I think you would like that one a lot. Good
Thank you.
morning, Chris. Another teacher out there. He's doing the Lord's work, teaching them kids.
um,
What else you got, buddy?
yeah. So, I this book it comes with a question,
Okay.
and it's a bit of a loaded question, but I'm showing RoboCop: Citizen's Arrest. Issue
Yes.
one is from Boom, by Brian Wood, and it's a very small story. I only got the first issue though, so I don't know how it was resolved. It was a lot of fun. Visually, it was fantastic. It just every page was just you just soaked it in. But yeah, what I wanted to ask is I wrote a script for a comic book with RoboCop, Judge Dredd, and Dick Tracy.
Amazing.
Would anyone be interested in if I wrote it and like finished writing it and finished drawing it and I actually published it?
I mean, can you publish that? Won't you be in trouble? No?
Yeah, I'd get a lot of cease and desist letters.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yes, I would be I'm interested in any kind of, like, weird mashup, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
yeah,
I think is a great, like, way to put together an ensemble. Take odd or similar characters or whatever and put them together and let their quirks be the thing that drives the drama, I think is a really cool idea. But yeah, the rights would be a nightmare. You would
yeah.
is it OPSEC or whatever the from RoboCop, the
Uh,
legal corporation.
OCP.
OCP, they will come right after you.
But so what the story is they're all in the same universe, and then they're in the same time frame. And all the local gangs are all trying to kill them because there's a big bounty on their head. And so the chief of police says, "We have to get you um, uh, from the station house to a safe house." And they, yeah, it's just them in the car trying to escape these gangs, and it's just a lot of action and extreme hardcore violence. um,
Yeah, it
and
sounds like a
what,
blast. It
yeah,
also sounds like, Escape from New York, or what is it, Precinct 13, those kinda, like,
yeah, yeah, it's a bit
compact.
like.
Yeah.
But
It's funny
anyway,
you had RoboCop. I've got a couple RoboCops over here on the table that I've actually set back for a friend,
is it
who
is
just
it the
loves it.
is it the Marvel
Marvel?
series?
Yeah, I have a couple. Let's see here. Um, this is my big pile of stuff for other people. There we go. Just some random issues, that I found. So there's number 5, OCP Wants You.
Very cool.
Oh, I do have. Okay, so then RoboCop Terminator. This is like the guy I grabbed this for. This is probably his two biggest. If I could have thrown Aliens in there too and Predator, he'd be in '80s movie heaven.
Have you read that series?
No, uh-uh.
Oh, it's so
No,
much fun.
I bought it for somebody. Like I said, I pick these up when I see them because I have a friend who's into it, and I do have number one.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
one I don't.
Well, I'll have to find you one. Sorry, these are for Brian.
No, no, it's all good. I've got I've got 27,000 books.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's just it's a real problem. It's becoming a real problem.
Do you have them cataloged at all?
Most of these are kind of cataloged, but no, they're not to my liking. I want to take it all home, sort it all out alphabetically and chronologically, and then bring it all
Yeah.
back.
Oh man, that has to count as a workout.
Well, when I did, well, the first time I did it, when I got this room all together, I ended up having to take a week off work because I'd done myself an internal injury.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, what do I have in here? 6, 12, 18. I mean, I've got like 30 some short boxes just in this room that I shuffled around, plus moving tables and things because I was building shelves. I bought these shelves at Costco. And when
Yep.
I got it all done, I was like, I think I might have hurt myself. So I took a bunch of ibuprofen and was doing stretches. My back went out like a month ago. I was like, I can't deal with that. Being old sucks. Like being old, I just wanted to move my collection around, and I could tell that I had started to hurt myself. Um, yeah. So I use the CLZ app, and kind of what I've
Yep.
been doing, the way when I buy books, I just kind of throw them in a box with a little marker for like a post-it or whatever for where I got them and when. And you know, every week I try to grab a box and take a chunk of those books, rebag and board them, put them in the CLZ app, and then try to like I actually try to read some too. That's the thing is like I buy them to read, and I know I'm buried more than I'll ever get a chance to read. But I mean, my main goal is honestly to read these books. I love them. But you're
Yeah.
you're like me. You get a lot of you buy a lot of run filler trying to fill a run.
Yeah.
Um, what is your end goal when you get a run together?
So, like, I have to think about this for a little bit. I don't really have an end goal in mind. I've got a year in my head. Like when I turn this age, I'm gonna get rid of it all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just like I've got another say 5 years, and then I think I'm just gonna get rid of a lot of bulk and just keep like some key titles and the entire run of those titles. So like Daredevil, Fantastic Four, um, Nightwing, yeah.
So
But the
you would
rest,
you would keep those entire runs. You wouldn't let a single book go out of Nightwing.
yeah.
But
Oh,
then there's no
and the Aquaman. I wouldn't get
okay.
rid of any of my Aquaman, but the rest, I think, there's no real emotional attachment to these books, um,
Right.
and just logistically, I don't think I'm going to find the time to read all of them, either once or once again. So it's like just sell them for like pennies on the dollar and just
Yeah.
be done with it.
Yeah, I have been giving a lot away, like when I hear somebody's looking for something and I know I have it, and I'm like, that one's so low on the totem pole, I'm never gonna read it. That one's never gonna make it to the top of the stack.
Yeah,
When I know somebody's looking for something, like it makes me really happy to get it to someone who's going to enjoy it. I don't know. Uh, I just spent the weekend with Dope Comics and Lettuce, and we talked about this a lot. And he has a philosophy that I really dig. He's like, once I read it, if I know it's not going into the PC, it's not a PC book because it's not sentimental for me, or it's not something that I intend to read again. I don't need to keep it. he just gives it away. Like
Yeah,
he finds a way to get it to somebody, and I think that's a really cool philosophy. It actually kind of when he said that, I was like, "Oh, that makes it almost seem a little more surmountable to me." Like when I get, when I get these books and I get something weird and I read it and I'm like, "Man, that was weird." I'm not going to feel as compelled. It almost gave me permission to get rid of some stuff.
yeah,
And but there are things I cannot see myself ever parting with my Justice League collection.
yeah,
That was the series that was the first run I ever completed. It was the series that got me into like wanting to have a book from one to whatever. So yeah, there are series, my Flash runs, I'll never get rid of those. Probably same with Batman and Superman. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I don't wanna say Darkhawk, but maybe one day Darkhawk I'll get rid of it if I can ever finish putting it together. The later issues of that are really hard to find, and they are really expensive.
yeah. Well, you know how I told you before we started the video, I told you there was a certain kilo of comics that were coming in.
Yes, yes.
So in that shipment is issue 47 and 48 of Darkhawk. Not not
Oh, nice.
not the elusive 50. I cannot find it for a good price. Um,
I have seen 50 one time, and they wanted $50 for it, and I was just like, "Absolutely not." I mean, that's a lot of money.
See, if it was $50 Australian, I'd just go,
That's
yep, let's go.
Yeah, but
I'd
that's different. That's a little cheaper.
Yeah,
I don't
so for
know.
you that's like uh $27.
Yeah, I would have paid that because I know it that's the thing is like those books, they were canceled. Their later issues, they were already, running low print runs because people weren't reading it. And when
Yeah,
they canceled it, I mean, you were lucky to get a final issue at all. Um, so let's see, my friend Chris Sturgeon, he also has almost 20K books. I've seen pictures of his collection. It's insane as well. Like again, makes me feel my I'm over 10,000, I think.
yeah,
But I'm closer to 10,000 than I am 20 for sure. But I'll get there. You guys, I'll get there.
yeah. Um, I just remembered I was watching. I don't know if you get The Chase in it's a game show
Okay.
um, in the states. And we have it here in Australia. It's called The Chase, and you go up against like a quiz master. And there was one guy on like a recent video where he said he was a
You see what he's saying here?
ooh, that just shut
I
me up.
I would have to build a shrine to you, Chris. That is if you actually had that is crazy. And the problem is somebody like him, I'm like, "Well, I'll trade you something," but he's got everything. "I'll trade you for this Darkhawk 50, but you got it all." I'm
um,
sorry, you were talking about the chase.
oh yeah, so yeah, there was a contestant on the other day, and he said, "Oh, I'm a big comic book fan," and the host said, "Oh, how many books do you have?" And he said, "Oh, I have 1,000 comic books."
Rookie numbers.
My wife was home, and I said, "Look at this idiot, 1,000 comic books." I feel like going on the show just to trump him,
Right. That's
but
ridiculous.
yeah.
1,000
Anyhow,
books. No.
uh,
Hey,
as
man.
I said, you shouldn't disparage other people's collections. They collect what they love, and that's what
Exactly.
they want. So
I was about to say the same thing. I'm just having fun. There is no wrong or right way to do this. Like there really
exactly.
isn't. If
Um,
if
so,
you're into the if you're into the hobby for any reason, like you're in the hobby. There's
yeah.
no gatekeeping here.
Yeah, I mean, my 16-year-old son, he still reads Looney Tunes comic books,
Cool.
and I'm like, "You still enjoy it?" He's like, I love it, Dad." He said, "I love it." So I'm like, I'm happy to buy them for you because you still enjoy them."
Right.
Yeah, and anyhow, I got two more books to show off,
Okay, cool.
and the last one is a really obscure book, like really obscure. But actually, I've got three to show off. Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
The next one is issue 12 of The Great Gazoo from Charlton, with Gazoo here and Fred.
That is so fun. I have seen this book recently, like out in the
Yeah,
wild. I saw this in a bin somewhere. This exact copy.
This is one I haven't even read yet. I brought it from home. One of the ones I thought, I'm going to take this home and read it because it's not even in a bag and board. It's just something I got, um,
Yeah,
just as like a big lot.
very cool.
That's very cool, Michael. But yeah, I just thought you might get a bit of a kick out of that.
I do like that. Did you read the modern Flintstones that came out a couple of years ago? Mark Russell was the writer. It was
Oh yeah,
really good. It was
yeah,
really good.
yeah. It was fantastic, and it had Steve Poe on
Yes,
art, and it was
yes.
crazy. I,
It
I
was
love Steve's work.
I do too, and Mark Russell's writing, I finished it. A friend loaned me 2 trades. I finished it. I immediately gave it to my wife. I said, "You have to read this and understand why I'm crying about a vacuum cleaner."
Yeah,
The way he would write, the way that their society worked was, I mean, there was a lot of reflection on modern times, which is what the cartoon was, but I just thought it was masterfully done. I was
yeah.
shocked. A Flintstones comic book had no business being that good. It was a
It was
blast.
it worked on so many levels, which was really surprising.
Well, now
I just had.
before you look at the next one, hold on, I got a couple more people here. So Matt has
Ooh,
74 short boxes and a long box. You got to get that long box out of here, Matt. It's gonna hurt your back. Steve Driscoll has 28 short boxes. Hey, see you, Chris. Thanks for using your prep
um,
time to watch us, buddy.
not to
What do
trump you,
you
but
got?
I got 160 in here. I got
And
40 on. I got 40 on each little bracket,
wow,
and I got four brackets. So yeah,
that is wild, man. 160. And
yeah,
what about uh you got stuff back at your house too?
yeah. Two rooms.
It is a sickness.
The thing of
Okay,
it is, oh sorry,
anybody whose spouse is giving them crap, they need to show your wife that clip right there of Martin saying he's got 160 short boxes just in storage. That doesn't even count what he's got at his house.
the thing of
That'll
it
have
is
to get us out of trouble.
there's a guy who I'm buying from, and he is in his 60s. Is a very he's not a very well man, and his house is three bedrooms chock full of these books. Like you cannot enter the rooms. It's that
Yes.
much.
Yes.
And when I went in there, I was like, "This is fantastic. I love this so much." But then after going there a couple of times, I thought, I don't want to end up like this guy. And if I keep pushing the way I'm pushing, I very well could be.
Yeah.
I just have the
Well,
house just chock full of stuff.
and I don't want to be buried by the collection. Like I want it to be accessible. Actually is my end goal is
Yeah.
to, have things ordered so that I can grab. Um so he's saying someone on eBay UK 1 to 50 and 3 annuals. So that's 53 books. I mean, I think that's a great price in my opinion.
Okay,
Um
so for me, a pound is about 2.7. So
yeah,
like three, just round up to $3. So 300, you're looking at 400
125
bucks.
English pounds to American dollars. That's only 161 bucks for me. That would be an instant buy.
Yeah, but then you've got to consider postage. But
Yeah,
but even
but
still, that's still a very, very good price.
it's a very good deal considering that those later issues are $10 a piece on a good day.
Yeah.
And that 50 is damn near impossible to find. With its foily goodness.
Ask for the link to be sent.
Yeah, Terry, send that link to me and Martin through Instagram.
Oh no, no, not me. No. Oh God.
Just Martin, not me. No,
No,
I'm
no, no,
not
no.
gonna.
Just you. Because
I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna
I,
buy it. I can't.
I'm tapped out. I'm tapped out
I
at the moment.
am I am tapped out at the moment also. Like I said, Nashville, I filled a short box. I have 3 whatnot orders that have arrived in the last 3 weeks that are priority mailboxes that people just they show a priority mailbox and they start chucking comics in and then they
Yeah.
start the auction at $1. and I got 50 some Superman books for $4. I got this random box of DC for $9. And then another AOK I got in the mail from my friend David, the Garage Geek, that I still
Yeah.
have not cycled through. Like I am full. That's, I I need to be done until at least for going stupid. Like I don't need to be going on eBay or buying any auctions on whatnot or anything for a while.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you want me to move on to the next one?
sure, yeah,
And again, this comes with another question for your audience.
okay.
Does anyone have this book? It's Avengers 1.5. It's by I think Bruce Timm,
Wow,
I think, or it could be I could be completely and utterly wrong. This came out when Kurt Busiek and George Perez started their Avengers run, and
I
it's a one shot.
I've never seen it before. Is it Bruce Timm art and
I'm gonna I'm,
writing or just
I'm gonna crack it out. I bought it when it first came out. I read it. I really enjoyed it, and it's been in the plastic sleeve since. So it's
wow.
Roger Stern and Bruce Timm, and it's it's the Avengers right at the start of their run, and yeah, they're going up against Doctor Doom. I'll see
No,
if I can find.
I've never seen this before. Anybody in the chat, I mean, I'm not a big Marvel collector anyway, but I mean, Bruce Timm, Doctor Doom after Kirby. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's incredible. It came out uh, December 1999.
Okay.
So, does anyone have this? Does anyone want to comment about it? Um, and coincidentally, does anyone want to talk about the casting announcements for the next Avengers movie?
I do.
Yeah,
I wanna talk a little bit about that for sure.
please do.
I I've never seen that book before. I am very unexcited for this new Avengers movie. Um, I just I feel like they're not moving forward, because they're afraid to, so they're
Yep,
going back. I saw that cast list, and I am a huge, huge Star Trek nerd,
yep,
maybe even bigger than I am a comic book nerd. And when I see Patrick Stewart coming back as Charles Xavier when he's died 3 times on screen already as Charles Xavier, and he's like 93 years old or something crazy, like I'm not excited for going back to the 90s X-Men.
yep.
I would be excited to see new X-Men. I really would. I would like
Hmm.
to see them move forward. But this whole thing, like I tuned into the casting announcement that was like an hour long as they just kind of panned every so many minutes, they would pan over and show another chair with a name on it. And the chat that was popping up was like, one guy was like, "I've been looking at this for 30 minutes. I'm leaving. This is stupid." And then the very next comment is somebody like, "I can't believe it. This is so epic." So I feel like, but that's where I see the fandom is all over the place. And I
Yeah.
am in the camp of, am I going to see it? Of course I'm going to see it. I'll probably go see it opening night or opening weekend, but I'm not super excited about it. It just it doesn't feel like they're moving forward with the MCU. It feels like I don't know. It feels like they don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, I, my brother saw the announcement and saw me this morning and he said, "What did you think? What did you think?" I was like, "To be honest, I haven't even looked at it. Like, it doesn't really phase me all that much." But when I did see it, I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I can see what they're saying."
A Star
Ooh.
Trek museum in Ticonderoga. I'd be down for that. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for being here. And Brian LCS is here too. I didn't say good morning to him, but I will now. Um, yeah. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, so with the current casting announcement, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll still see it, but yeah, there's not a lot in there that I'm like dying to see. Um, but when they said there's more casting to come, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's where I'm excited because from like, I don't buy for FOMO or buy for spec, but uh, the speculation would be huge if they said, okay, there's another 26 characters that we're going to have in this movie, and they're going to be cameos. Um, and I said to a mate of mine, I said, if they brought in my boy Ravage,
You'd be sitting on a pile of gold
yeah,
foil.
and my mate said, well, who could you cast as Ravage? And I said, well, what about Jean Claude Van Damme? And you just have him in one scene. And then the cost of this book goes from $1 to $1.50, and that's when I
Right.
sell.
That's when you sell. Buy low, sell also as low, just a little higher.
Yeah,
Um, so that's the other thing though, is when I see that big cast and somebody on Reddit put together like, a photo
yeah,
montage of all the characters and the actors, and it's just like, who's getting screen time in this? Who, like, when I look at Endgame Infinity War, they broke that up pretty well, but it took 6 hours for them to fit everybody in. This
yeah,
is gonna be, I'm assuming, probably a 3-ish hour movie. Who is the main cast? Because I feel like it's gotta be the Fantastic Four, with Doom, but it's
yeah,
also like, which Avengers are there? Which Avengers are the team at the moment, and how are the X-Men fitting in? Like, I feel like it has to be just a bunch of cameos,
yeah.
and it's
That's
hard to get excited about that.
we will see what happens.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm being negative only because, I can be. I'm still gonna see it.
Yeah,
But when they announced, Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, I was just like, why?" Like, I feel like he should have been introduced in a Fantastic Four movie, and it should have been done in a I don't know, there's so many actors who could play Doctor Doom. There
yeah,
really are. And it is hard to find somebody who hasn't been in a superhero movie at this point, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, Chris Evans has been in several, but, you know, he is so iconically Tony Stark and Iron Man, it's just weird. And they say, "Well, he's not a variant." Well, then how does it work? Because 'Cause he's got that guy's face. Are you telling me that he takes the mask off and the Avengers don't know that he looks like Tony Stark? I just don't
yeah.
know.
Um, someone put up something saying none of the Eternals cast were announced,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, okay, I didn't notice that, but now I do. But if they had have announced Kit Harington as the Black Knight, I think that would have gone a little bit further to me to go, okay, that's interesting because that's not something we've seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there are I don't know. I feel like they're just lost without Iron Man and Steve Rogers Captain America. I feel like they are lost with what's heading up their Avengers team.
yeah,
And I also, with Chris Evans' name not being announced, he's got to be one of the ones in their back pocket.
yeah,
He has to show up at some point. And Big Nasty also saying that he has mixed. I do. I just have mixed feelings. I'm gonna see it,
yeah,
and I'll be excited I will be excited to see it. But it's hard to get excited about it right now. I guess I need to see something. I am excited for Fantastic Four. I think that has a cool look.
yep,
I I am very, cautiously cautiously excited for that.
yeah. I've I've taken some time off work, um, so that I can go see it. Um,
Nice.
and also for the Superman movie, I've taken the day
Mm.
off.
I already told my family when the Superman trailer came out, we watched it. I said, "I hope you guys know we are at the midnight showing at the IMAX for this. Like, the second I can buy tickets, I'm buying tickets. That's what we're doing."
Yeah, I've got one more to show,
Awesome. Let's see it.
and this is the really obscure one, The Legend of Shazam.
Okay.
So it's by uh, Alan Kupperberg.
Oh,
So Paul Kupperberg's, I assume it's his brother. Um, and what it is, it's an unpublished commission story. And so um, he he went to DC and they said, yeah, do it. But they didn't end up buying the story. So he had it all ready to go. And then Yeah, they paid him for it, but they never published the story. And so he thought
So what is what is this?
he self-published it himself.
That's awesome.
And he said, what I do is I press print on the photocopier, and I got this for $17 with postage. And yeah, that's I'll crack it out. I'll show you because it
That
looks
is
pretty nice.
awesome. It's funny you just said that because I was reading a Weird War Tales last night, and it was a Paul Kupperberg story.
So
Oh, that
yeah,
yeah.
it was
So
yeah all done, and then yeah, DC just for some whatever reason they said no, no, we're not doing it. So yeah, he
it
said it sat in his files for years and years.
it certainly happens. There's a guy I know, um, that sold a story to DC for Batman,
Yep,
and it never got made. It never got published.
yep.
It it happens.
Well, I don't know if they still do it these days, but there's ghost stories for these comic books. Like even Ravage has a ghost story, and so what it is. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I continue. I understand what you're saying now. I thought you were talking about Ghost Stories, the comic, but you're saying, like, stories that never got published, but that are out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So they're not ghost stories; they're inventory stories. So
Mhm.
if the current team is running behind, they have something in their back pocket. They can go. We're just going to publish this, and they slap it together and they throw it out. But a lot of these inventory stories, especially like Ravage, because the sales died.
Right,
Um, they said, what do? We scan it, we have it on our files, but it'll never see the light of day.
right.
Yeah,
Um, there's well, probably one of the more famous ones because they did end up publishing it was where Robin doesn't die in, Batman whatever, where you could call the 1-800 number. They
yeah,
did both versions, and they actually released the one, I think it was this year. I didn't pick it up, but,
I did.
like, did you? Did you
Yeah,
read it? Was it any good?
no, no, I haven't read it yet.
Okay. I mean, that storyline was really impactful for me as a kid. Like, I remember that being a very traumatic, kind of experience that, oh my god, they killed a kid. They
Yeah,
beat a kid to death with a crowbar. So, yeah, I did not pick that up when it came out, but I saw that they had done that. And it also makes me think of you and I are both big Simpsons fans.
yeah,
During, Who Shot Mr. Burns, they animated all those different endings so that nobody would know for sure who it was.
yeah. Um, I've got a few more books just to show off.
Cool.
If you're interested.
Yeah, of
So
course I'm interested.
there's
Morning,
six
K Munin.
books. Sorry.
Oh, I was saying good morning to somebody who just popped in here, K Munin.
Cool.
Telling you,
So
for 7 a.m. on a Friday, there's a lot of people chatting and hanging out this morning. So everybody go sub up Martin if you're not subbed up yet. He's
yes, please
fun.
do.
He is fun.
Hopefully, people enjoy what I bring out. That's all I
Yeah.
can hope.
You show books from your collection, you talk about why you like them, and
Yep.
and that's why I'm here is to talk comics and see what people are into.
So
All right, what
I
else you
got
got,
these
brother?
two.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
that glare, man, that glare. The ring light's not that great, but
Yeah,
Batman and Robin, what 13 and 14. Uh, as I said, I'm just filling runs.
right.
Yeah. So that arrived with this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this is Adventure Comics 516, and Paul Levitt's on art on writing, and it's simply a Legion of Superheroes story.
And that's
Uh,
that's more recent, so that's like legacy numbering on
so
Adventure.
yeah, yeah. So this came out September of 2010. But yeah, we got Cosmic Boy and Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad.
I'm pretty sure I have the excuse me, I'm pretty sure I have the trade of this run
Okay,
or a trade from this run. I'm not sure if
yeah.
it's the whole thing. Matt from Matt Likes Comics, he had also finished his Batman and Robin run.
Very
He's
cool.
a run filler too. That guy can collect some books.
Well, last year I was collecting big key issues, like major key issues. And then this year I just thought I'm not going to get major key issues anymore. I just want to start filling runs.
Yeah,
It's just I just found it more fun.
just got your
Hey,
link
thank
in
you,
there. Thanks, JSS.
thank you very much.
Wielding his blue wrench.
Um, and the last three books is the books that I've read. I think I've read them all last night.
Okay.
So the only time I get to read books is late at night when
Yep.
everyone's in bed asleep,
Yep.
and then I doze off.
I hear that. It's my time too.
But Submariner issue 46.
Very cool cover.
Yeah, it's a nice yellow cover.
I
And
love yellow covers.
it's got Stingray. And that's the only reason I bought it. It's because I don't have a lot of stories with Stingray in it. And he's front and center in this story. Uh, he's got this suit that can allow him to go deep, deep in the ocean, and he can handle the pressure of the ocean.
Got you
Hey,
a few more
thank you,
subs.
David. Hey, thank you. That's awesome.
And both of those guys have great channels too, DVD and Terry from Dead Man Comic Cover Show.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, so so it's a Stingray, and it's drawn by Gene Colan.
Very cool.
Yeah, I read that the other night. That was a lot of fun. And then Exiles issue.
Yes. I love Exiles, which to me doesn't make like I'm not a big
So you
Marvel
cut it.
guy. Oh, I was gonna say I love this book, and
Yeah,
I'm not a big Marvel guy, but for some reason, Exiles really clicks. Like whenever you get a variant, an alternate version of somebody, they always give you enough of the history of the character and the universe they came from that you're
yeah,
good. That's all you need.
yeah.
I love that book.
Yeah, such a fun series. Um, it went for 100 issues, and this was the only issue I didn't have.
Really,
Yeah, and it was like just up here in my brain, and I was like, I've got to find that issue. I've got to find it for a good price, and I got it for like $3.
so that was Judd Winnick. Judd
Hmm.
Winnick was a great comic book writer
Oh yeah,
for a period. Even his run on Batman was pretty okay. But Exiles was like Quantum Leap meets I don't know, like these alternate versions of Marvel characters. They had to go fix things in a timeline. It was kind of like Loki before Loki.
yeah. It
Uh,
was it was kind of like Sliders, the
Yeah,
TV
yeah,
show
it
Sliders.
was. There you go. It's like Quantum Leap meets Sliders. It was I loved it, and like if they succeeded in their missions, they would actually get to leave the team. They would get to go back to their timelines. And
Yeah,
so like and characters died. Like it it was just a really cool idea, and it was a lot of fun to read. It was a lot
yeah.
of fun to read.
So I got the last one. It's something similar, but I read this the other night. It's
Okay.
X Force 116. It's the first time that this team is uh, in the X Force book.
This is one I need to read. I have not I've looked at X-Force before. I know I flipped through a trade or two, but I've never like actually sat down and read it. And people seem to either love it or hate it.
Yeah,
And I love Mike Allred's art so much. I mean I freaking love it. So
yeah.
I think if nothing else, I would like to just check it out. Phil asks, that's the first dupe, right?
It is. It is. So um, I got it. I got it in an auction, and I got like a whole run of X Force. And I won the auction, and then a week later, that dupe news for the MCU hit, and this book went up really high, and then came down really quick.
Wait, what? There's dupe news? Breaking dupe news? What what is
Yeah,
happening?
So there was this artist that was working for Marvel Studios, and she put up a whole lot of stuff on her Instagram account or her X account, whatever it was, social media,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
and it was all for the Avengers movie. And yeah, there was a whole series of photos, and there was one, and it had Dupe in it, and people were saying, "What is Dupe doing in this?" Um, they were just
Like
what
concept art or something.
concept art. That's what I was thinking of. Yes, yes, yeah. What's Duke doing in his concept art? So, ironically, this book went up in value really quick, and then when Marvel Studios said this is just perceived concept art, and the person's no longer working with us, or something to that effect,
Yeah.
everyone went, "Okay, let's just
She
slow down the pressure a little bit."
she drew dupe, so we fired her.
But yeah, again, I was run feeling. I've got a few issues of this concept, like two or three, and now I've got the whole run. Um,
Awesome.
so I was like, yeah. And then I thought, I'll actually read it and see if I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I set a couple aside that I wanted to show you before we
Yeah,
wrap up.
please.
Uh, I'll save that one for last. So first I've got three 90s. One is nonsense, absolute nonsense. I think the other two are pretty damn cool. So do you remember Doom Force?
Yes, yes. It's up there.
Okay. This is, oh god, now it's gonna escape me. It's not, is it Grant Morrison that wrote this? Somebody big wrote this.
Someone,
Like
yeah, some of it. I
the
don't know if it was Grant though.
the art is obviously made to look like, Liefeld. They're making
Yeah.
fun of Doom Patrol or X-Force. The art is absolutely god awful. Let's see here. Yeah, it's Grant Morrison. Oh my god, Steve Pugh on art,
Wow,
and it's terrible.
that's
I mean,
gorgeous.
he's being forced to do the Liefeld thing. So let's see. We've got listen listen to this. Grant Morrison writing, Steve Pugh, and Walt Simonson. There's a ton of different artists who are listed on this, but those are the two that jump out to me.
Holy moly.
It's so atrocious. But I just thought if anybody is going to enjoy 90s garbage like I do, it's going to be my friend Maarten.
Yeah,
Um, so I've actually picked up a couple of those just because I mean I see them for a buck, and I think people try to sell them for more than that. I don't know if it goes. Then these next two, speaking of books that it's hard to complete a run, but I've managed to like find them here and there, and one day maybe I will. I've even sold the first six or seven, and I keep rebuying it. But
yeah.
that's Sam Keith's The Max.
Ooh,
So this is issue 24.
okay.
um, it went for 35 issues. I had literally never seen anything this old, like this late in the run before.
Yeah.
So I found 24, and then for $10, which I thought was extremely fair, it's in very good shape for one this late. Number 34. So the second to last issue, and it
Oh,
was and it was only $10.
that's great.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
I love Sam Keith so much, and I just hear how hard it is to find issue 35 and that people, pay through the teeth. But
Yeah.
I think I got 24. I think I got this for 4 or $5. And like I said, I know I paid 10 for this, but when I saw 10, I was like, Absolutely," because
Mm,
I have seen this book at shows for $50.
yeah.
So
Perfect.
I got.
I love that. I love it.
And, this one I just picked up in Nashville, and this is a key, and since you showed Legion earlier, I'm wondering if you know this one's in terrible shape, but I think I paid, yeah, I kept the sticker on the back. I paid $2.99, so I paid $3 for Adventure Comics 303. Do you know whose first appearance this is?
It's Pharaoh Lad.
No,
It's
it's
not.
like Pharaoh. It's a Legionnaire, at least unless
Oh,
I'm
sorry. No,
wrong.
it's Matter Eating Lad.
Yes. It's Matter Eater Lad's first appearance. I couldn't, because I bought a copy of this, like, for myself, for my PC for, like, I might have paid $15. It's in
Yeah.
really good shape for a 12-cent DC. And we're digging through bins and Dope pulls this up. He's like, "You need this one?" I'm like, "I have it, but for $3, absolutely I'll buy that." If nothing else, I'll end up giving that away to somebody. But
So I bought something on eBay and it arrives in about 2 weeks. It's that issue.
awesome. Very cool. Very
Oh,
cool.
thank
So
you.
there's Big Nasty. I know he's another Sam Keith fan. I love Sam Keith's Batman. I love the Max. I love his I wish he could have stayed with Sandman early on
Hmm.
because his art is so weird. I think it really would have been interesting to see
I
him do
I
that.
even like his Toxic Crusader stuff.
I
Like,
never saw any of that.
so there was, I think, 6 to 8 issues, and he did the covers for all of them, and it's perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I his Wolverine. That's the other thing. I love how like animalistic he makes his Wolverine, but not so bad that it's not like he doesn't have a nose or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yep, I knew Matt would have that. Matt is another like super family Legion nut. And yeah, I mean, I just couldn't leave it for $3, even though it's in
No,
terrible shape. Like I knew I could bundle it I could give this to somebody. It's just a cool book.
yeah, and it's
And at
one of
that
those, yeah, you know, you know.
and it's cheap. It was cheaper than a new book. Like I can't get a new book for $3. So to get one from the 60s like that, that's somebody's first appearance, I think is cool. I forgot they did a Max cartoon on MTV. It was like Liquid Television or something.
Yeah, we
Um,
had it here on a Saturday night, um, and it was like 7:30, so you'd watch a little bit before you went out anywhere.
yeah.
That's if you went out on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't go out any night. I stay home and read comics and watch
Yep.
horror movies. Um, which I mean, we're coming in on over an hour, so we'll probably start wrapping up here.
Yep.
Do you have anything coming up? I mean, like I said, Martin puts out a video every day. If you subscribe to his channel, you got 5 to 10 minutes of Martin daily in your subscription feed, where right from where he is right now in his
Mhm.
storage unit, he will show off 4 books, and they're always random. That's what I like. Like you never know what you're gonna get. DC, Marvel, Independent. I mean, it's you have a obviously with 27,000 books or whatever, but you just have you don't focus on just one thing. You focus on what you like, and that's very
Yep.
broad. So it's cool that you share all that. And then you always end with a key issue of some kind because key
Yeah.
is subjective, but it's always I like the way that you present your collection. I think it's a cool way to spend a little time with it and share that with everybody. But do you have anything else coming up?
So tomorrow, um, so let's see, it's 11 o'clock. So in about 6 to 7 hours, I'm going to be posting a video on my channel with a whole lot of old detective comics that I got
Cool.
from a local seller. And I've been doing spotlight videos. So Daredevil and Batman and She-Hulk and Ghost Rider. So there's a lot of that. How do you get a copy of Wombat Man?
Asking
Uh,
the important question.
okay, so you can go onto my Facebook page and hit me up there, or onto my Instagram account, which is Hannibal King 2099. Um, and yeah, just start chatting to me, and I'll arrange for it to be posted out. They're $10 each. That's $10 Australian, and yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like I said, my copy was gifted to me by Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack. I really enjoyed it, and when issue 2 comes out, I'm gonna put an order in. I wanna get the second issue of Wombat Man and pick up some of your other books as well, and since there will
yeah.
be, shipping involved, I want it to be, cost effective, but yeah, Big Nasty, if you can't find him on Instagram, just let me know. I'll hook you guys up.
Thank you.
Um Yeah, so please check out Martin, check out the link to his store that's in this description. Tonight, there's a lot going on. My friend Matt has a stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. I imagine that we will also be on Alan the Comic Collector Friday show and tell stream that we do at 7. And
Cool.
then Brandon from Mon Comics, another good friend of mine, he is doing a stream at 8, his Big Five Live, where he invites 4 people on, and they just each pick 5 books to kind of show off from their collection. And then on Sunday, speaking of big nasty comics, this Sunday, the Comic Book Hangover show is going to have Rich from Big Nasty Comics and Adam from Up and Adam Comics with Hagen and I. We will be on Lettuce Comics channel this week.
Cool.
So that's everything I got coming up this weekend. I can't tell you how much I appreciate. We got 14 people in the chat right now, Martin. That is not bad for 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's
You
big.
know, America time. So very cool of you guys to wake up and check Martin out. Oh, JSS, there we go. There's dropping your Instagram link for people as
Thank you
well.
so. So
So
my Instagram account is just comic books. That's all I do. That's all I post. And it's every day.
yeah, mine's not just comic books. Sometimes I post, picture of my cats or my kid. Um, but it's mostly comic books. Speaking of, I gotta take a snap for the book of the day for Friday. But this was way more important. So, yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting with us. Please check Martin out. Order something from him. He is a good guy. I love this. I love that YouTube has allowed me to literally, like I said, Matt's in Canada, people in upstate New York. I've got Terry over in England. I've got you and Dave from 35 Cents. You guys are in Australia. Like, there's just like this worldwide network of people, and we just all love talking about comic books. My wife calls you guys my pen pals. She's like, "Oh, are you going online with your pen pals?" Yes, I am. Yes, I am, and I'm going to talk about nerd things. So
I just got a new
everybody,
follower, JSS. So thank you very much, JSS.
yes, awesome. JSS is he is a super fan supreme of comic book YouTube. He is like, if you're in a live stream, there's a really good chance he is in that live stream.
Yeah.
He is
Now, JSS, you want to send me a message? I will respond soon enough. But yeah, it's almost my bedtime.
Yeah, he's gonna go home and go to bed. He's been up a very long time. And Martin,
I've
thank
had
you so much
a very long day.
for letting us figure this out too, so that we can do this. We will do it again. We will figure it out
Yes.
again because I
Yeah,
really like
this has
hanging
been a
out.
lot of fun. I've really looked forward to this. So thank you so
I have
much.
I have too. I mean, this has just been the best spring break for me. Like, I got to go hang out with guys in real life. I got to figure out something that, yeah, I mean, you and I, like I said, you were my first hangout. You were the first guy I chatted with, so I was so excited to get to do this again. All right. Well, we are gonna hit the end stream button. Thank you so much, everybody. Martin, just hang out for a minute and we'll
Will do.
chat before you go to bed.